Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me once again. MJB, nice job done. Well done, well done. Very soon we'll begin to contest for Guinness World Record.
Thank you,
Of
sir.
the most, yes, of the most participatory and impactful training institute. Don't worry, we are going there. I can,
Thank
in
you,
fact,
sir.
when we get to that level, I will train for 1 month, non-stop. Just give me a bottle of water to be drinking. One month non-stop. Yes. When I have the likes of Mr. Ojo with me, I have the likes of Seidu, I have the likes of Sunday. Insurance covers me now. I don't have any. Thank you very much for having me. Hope you enjoyed your week as well. And to all our participants, thank you for making it a date once again. Um, we are moving briefly and swiftly into what we have for the day. The rules of engagement remains. Do not unmute your mic unless you are asked to do so. Rule number one. Rule number two, we expect each and every one of us not just to be here hiding, but to be expressive. When a question is asked, you can unmute your mic, raise your hand, and you're given the audience to make your own input. The reason for that is we want the class to be can start to just be present and is outside working on the tire of his car. And I'll talk, thinking that Mr. Sunday is following, not knowing that he's even outside working, on the tire of his car. So, but with him participating, making his input contributions, I have the assurance that he is with me, you know, as we go on. So please, your input is very important. Rule number three. What is our rule number three again? Anybody can remind me? Rule number three. Rule number three, if you are not hearing me at any point in time, do not hesitate to draw my attention. Sometimes, we say we are not in control of certain things, and network in Nigeria is one of such. We are not in total control. So at any point you're not hearing, kindly indicate and let us know so we can, rectify what needs to be rectified. Having said that, once again, I welcome each and every one of us. Adesino Allah, thank you. I can see you. Yes, Ruth, you're welcome. Can see you. Mr. Sunday, my able Mr. Smith Sunday. ASS, Assistant Special Superintendent. Anaka, you are welcome. Zaumi, you are welcome. Who else? Alex Seidu, you are welcome. So, can we proceed? Can we proceed, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can proceed, sir. From me, we
Okay.
can proceed.
Any other person to second? Okay. I can see the second person. All right. The third person. The third person indicating that we should start. Okay. Okay, we can proceed. All right, we can proceed. Thank you for the comment section. Thank you very much. I will not proceed until Mr. Sunday welcomes me. I will not proceed. I'm protesting now. Mr. Sunday, where are you?
I didn't get that, sir. I didn't get that.
I said I will not proceed until you welcome me. I welcome everybody and nobody welcome me. Abba, are we quarreling?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't get that, sir.
You can't hear me. Can any other person hear me? I said you have to welcome
I can hear you
me.
now, sir.
You have to welcome me before I start.
Okay, sir.
I welcomed you now. Sure.
Okay, sir. House participant, please let's welcome our the world best facilitator, Mr. Gabriel Friday, to the platform today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This accolade, in fact, is making my hair swell. All right. Having said that, let's move to the business of today. And what we have here is project integration management. Project integration management. Last weekend, we tried as much as possible to demystify, the concept of project management, making all, analogies and all of that contributions from professionals in the house, and it was worth our time. We got to discover that there are 5 processes as far as project management is concerned. And for us to have a seamless and successful project execution and delivery, there is need for us to implement, put to use those 5 processes, which is the initiative or initiation, talk about planning, talk about execution, talk about monitoring, evaluation, and then the delivery. We did a whole lot, which I'm sure that we took our time to listen to the the notes that was sent, the slides, and all of that. All right. So we are looking at integration. For every project to be successful, even in the world of business, all right, many business executives actually use project integration management as their own standard of practice to develop some kind of effective coordination between the tasks, between the resources, between the teams, the stakeholders, and all other aspects of the project. So as a beginner, managing collaboration among different departments is very important. It might be very challenging. It might be very petty. It might even be something that will take you time to understand what really is integration process, what really is integration procedures. This is what we want to look at. How can I infuse? Another word that we can use in place of integration is infuse. How can I infuse the coordination of the tasks given, the resources available, the teams, the stakeholders, and every other project aspect?
Okay, simple. You have a drawing that you have sent to us for us to install that thing. Give them the drawing. Let them go and install it there. Yes, let them
Please,
go and
can
install
you mute your mic? You are violating our rules.
Simple.
You are violating our rules. Please, can you mute your mic? Orivo.
Oh God, how do you think we will do our own now? We want to give us.
Orivo, you are not abiding to the rules. Please mute your mic. Thank you very much for that. So, like we were saying before we were interrupted, a task is given, the project is right before you. You have the resources, right? You have the teams, you have the stakeholders. How can you bring these elements together to get the needed results that you want? That's where integration process comes in, or that's where integration management plays a very vital role as far as project management is concerned, right? So, project integration management is sort of a productive way to organize the different project elements, together for effective execution. I don't know if that is clear. The state or the act of organizing the elements together for effective execution. What do we mean by that? If your integration is wrong in terms of the human capacity, you may not be able to execute the project. If the resources at your disposal are not well utilized, you may not be able to execute the project. If the stakeholders are not well managed, you may not be able to do what? Effectively come up with a result. So, how do you manage all this? How do you manage all this? As a manager, your responsibility, your primary approach is to get the project done within the allocated resources and time frame. To get it done within the allocated resources. What resources has been allocated to you? What is the time frame that has been allocated to you? That is your primary assignment. That is your primary responsibility. How then you integrate what you have into what you are supposed to do is then your biggest challenge. Because let's put it this way, sometimes you get the best. Along the line, certain things begin to fall out. How do you manage such? How do you manage such? You hire people, they are the best you thought you could have. Along the course of the project, some of them decide to resign. How do you manage such a scenario? Say, I'm not working with you again. Some will even give you notice, some will just walk out unannounced. How do you take up the challenge? That's an aspect of integration. The person that you are bringing in to fill the vacant position, how well will the person integrate into that project? You know, it's like you're working in an office. An important staff member of an organization decides to leave. You did everything possible as possibly the HR manager or the overall manager, persuading this person to stay, and he still refuses, decides to leave. At the back of your mind, you know that bringing in another person, even if the person has a kind of commensurate idea of what the former had, you still need time for the person to settle into the organization. The person needs to completely integrate into that organization to understand first and foremost the objectives of the organization, the goals of the organizations, what they aim to achieving, living its own ideologies, living its own methods, its own ways of doing things, and then welcoming a new method altogether of doing things. How is that person going to be integrated as soon as possible? It takes time. That's where training comes in. Development comes in, on the job training, off the job training, whatever the management needs to do so that this person catches up as soon as possible is an aspect of integration. So, as a project manager, people will not always be there with you. But what is your next line of plan? What is your next line of action? Should there be anything of such? How do you gel everything that you have to get the results? It's just like you, maybe you want to mix, you want to get block the process, right? You just mix, put your sand down, make it in form of a cycle, put your granite, begin to turn it, and it get mixed, put your cement, pour your water, and you begin to mix. That step that you are taking, that approach that you are taking in projects is just what we are discussing right now, integration. Now, the cement is integrating with the granite. The granite is integrating with the sand. The sand is integrating with the water. At the end of the day, what do you come out with? Either a slab, depending on what you want to achieve, or block. But tell me, if you do what all of this, you mix the cement, you mix the granite, you mix maybe your sand, and there is no water, what are you going to come up with? It means that the integration process is not complete. Hence, you cannot get your result as far as what you want to achieve is concerned. That is integration process. That is integration procedure. So the mixing of various resources, various tasks, various departments, various stakeholders to achieving your result as a project manager is what we call integration. Now, we discussed last week about management. For you to monitor it, for you to evaluate it, for you to supervise, for you to plan, for you to coordinate, just to ensure that the water is in the right quantity. The granite is in the right quantity. The sand is the right quantity. It is only in this part of the world that, I'm sorry to say for those that are in building and all of that, you use one bag of cement to bring out 40 blocks. That is insane. 40 blocks in one bag of cement. That is way too much. The integrity of that block cannot be ascertained. It cannot stand the test of time. The integration process failed because something was more than another and is not giving you the desired result. If you are using one bag of cement to bring out 50 blocks, it shows that the sand was more than every other thing. Now, the integration process has failed because the long-term result, see, whatever we do as far as the integration process is concerned, we are not looking at the short-term results. We are equally focusing on what? The long-term results. If we are doing this, what are we going to get at the end of the day? In 5 years' time, will this business survive? Having done my integration management, will this business survive in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, 15 years? Are there other things that I need to consolidate on so that the lifespan of the business can be elongated? That's exactly what we are talking about here. So there is need for you to optimize the project's dependencies, some of the stakeholders' expectations. You look at your customer preferences and all the necessary aspects in order to develop a unified approach, a unified approach, a synergy, a collective unification. You need to do what? You need to put that into approach. Okay? So let's all right. So does anybody want to tell us his own aspect or idea as far as integration management is concerned? Anybody? Anybody want to explain to us what he or she understands by integration management? Hello, are we still together? Mr. Sunday, are you there?
We are with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please, can I have your own understanding of what integration in projects is concerned?
Ah, um, to my own little knowledge, based on what you uh, said so far, I think project management integration simply means the ability for you uh, to integrate or put it into a process and unforeseen circumstances like the issue of you saying, okay, for example, a worker leaves on the project, that can actually affect the delay to the project to be delayed as a result of that worker, that staff leaving the company at that point in time. So my little knowledge in the word integration means for you to put and to make adequate arrangement and plan to ensure that the project moves smoothly. I don't know if I've made sense. Sir.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person?
All right. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. All right. This is Ojo. All right. Good morning. Yeah. I think I will join. What I won't be different from what Mr. Sunday just said. For me, integration has to do with how you try your possible best, the skillful manner together, human resources, material resources, project manager, and the stakeholders, and every other thing that has to do with project, external factors. How you speak them together, project, and sometimes there is no state. Though it might be similar, might not work the same integration process. Then after you follow, being able to integrate has to also do with project manager's ability to be able to see, because you in every project, though it might be a similar project, but you can't have the same professionals every day. And so the mindset of the professional you have in the other project might be different from the mindset of the other. So it has to do with the skillful management of the project manager, his ability to reach out and to be able to understand the people that are with him, and then find a way to be able to integrate everybody into the project. I think that's to be able to bring everybody into the project and to see the plans of the project as it is. Sometimes even training are very difficult, because sometimes when you start telling some professionals this is the goal of the organization, they start telling we have been doing this thing for many years, and probably they might even have more experience than you. So most times it's a very difficult thing to be able to integrate, particularly professionals. You might be able to even integrate the scarce resources, but do you know that the most difficult thing to integrate are the various professionals? And meanwhile, when you're not dealing with two professionals from different field entirely, who are professionals and who need to come together to achieve a project, at some point they all want to see that what they see should come first, rather than what the project needs to be should be what we are considering first. So at this point, most times integration has to depend very, very often times on the skillful ability of the project manager to have good interpersonal relationship with everybody that is involved in the project, and then to be able to bring them to the project. I think that's it, Jack. I hope
Yes, you're absolutely on point. Well explained. Thank you very much, Daujo. Yeah, I quite agree with you when it comes to uh, having the knowledge on how to effectively utilize the scarce resources at your disposal. Just like what we said at the class, that your responsibility amongst others is to ensure that everything within your reach as a project manager, it is the result that the stakeholder wants. The stakeholder does not want to know, he doesn't want to know if you don't have any interpersonal relationship with somebody, if what they want is result. That is what they're after. It is now on you to deploy every strategy that you can ever think of. Every strategy that you can ever think of. If you were once, someone that is very aggressive, and this project is concerned and you want results, you have to bring your aggressiveness into your pocket. If you want someone that nobody could talk to, yeah, I know this, this is what I believe, this is because of this project, you need to calm down and get the result. If you were one that somebody cannot even approach because of your ego, you don't have any, interpersonal relationship with your workers and all of that, because of the project, you need to bring down your ego. So these are strategies. It may not be, okay for you. Some people say, it's not, this is not me. I'm just doing. Raymond, please, can you mute your mic? Raymond, mute your mic, please. So some people will tell you, this is not me. I'm just doing this because of this. They are trying to tell you, I'm swallowing my pride, all right, just for this result to be obtained. Sometimes it's like that. Let go of what you have and get the result done. So like Mr. Ojo said, if it means having an interpersonal relationship with people, getting ideas from these professionals, sitting together to harness, to analyze the ideas and coming out with the best possible elements, it is important you do what? You do that. That is what integration is all about. Otherwise, you will not have the desired result that you want. Okay? So let's look at some of the the processes. Let's look at some of the processes. Let's look at some of the processes, right? First and foremost, we say develop project charter. What do we understand by the term project charter? It is what every project manager, the number one document that every project manager must have. What is project charter? What is project charter? Anybody, please? Anybody? What is project charter? Nobody is saying anything. Mr. Ojo, what is project charter?
Um,
Okay.
to me, I think project charter is more or less like a detailed document showing the project planning and the outlines in terms of the key, the scope, and what have you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Mr.
You're
Ojo?
welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Mr.
Also, in
Ojo?
addition to
All
what
right.
is yes, sir. In addition to what he's saying, the project charter also goes further to define the authorities of every stakeholder, particularly those that will be involved in the project. And the stakeholders, the charter also states the the JO or the job description of everybody. Like, what's the authority of the project manager? How does the project manager report to? How does the circle go? How do we get this one done? How do we get that one done? So most times the detail of how the processes is to be followed in terms of how the organization is put in place is defined in the project charter. And so every stakeholder, particularly the professionals that will be involved, are to be well aware of the project charter, because whenever you want to initiate a process, it has to be in line with the project charter.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can,
We
can
could
I add
simply
also?
put. Okay, sure, you can.
Apart from
Mr. River.
aligning, apart from the outlining the key aims, it also talks about the benefits. What are the benefits of this project that we are supposed to embark on? So I want to add there are benefits also in the project charters.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Alex, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay, after
yeah,
Alex,
good morning.
Mr. Raymond.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Mr. Raymond, good morning. Just hold on for Mr. Alex to make a summation. Then you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah,
sir.
Mr. Alex, over to you.
Okay, sir. According to my own little understanding, project charter, it's I can say from my understanding that it is the blueprint of the whole project that is going to be that the project manager is going to work on it, because it has to contain all the details of what that particular project encompasses, including the stakeholders, the professionals, the project manager himself, the project supervisors, all that is going to take place in that project with the consent of authority. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, absolutely. Thank you very much. Mr. Raymond?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, okay.
Can we
The
hear
project charter talks about the project scope, the project the responsible people, and then the stakeholders that are involved who will undergo all these approvals on the project itself.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have all said well. Simply, we can say that the project charter is a document that contains the detailed analysis of the entire project. Then you can now come up with, all the scope, the time, the benefit, and whatever. A very simple illustration. I'm planning for a wedding next week Saturday. I have wedding next week Saturday. Now, that wedding to me is a project. Is a project because it has everything that a project. You talk about whether you want to build house or whether you want to do business, anything that the project has. Where is the wedding venue? Who are the people that will be my men in suit? Okay, talking about my wife, who is going to be a makeup artist? Who is going to be a flag girl, a ring bearer? Who is going to be a bestie? Okay, now what are we going to give to maybe the church that we are going for the wedding and all of that? We have left the church, the reception venue. Who is going to serve food? Who is the MC? Who is the person that will bring the guest of honor, chairman to the table, and what have you? Who is the DJ? Okay, we are done. Where are we going for our honeymoon? We have put so much in this wedding. What if now they no longer spray money? And my friend will say, guy, I will spray you, but unfortunately, if I spray, they will catch me. And the money does not forthcome. What will I do? And I spent expecting that at all, Mr. Sunday will just call, spray me like 500,000. But he's saying that they will catch him. This is disadvantage. Okay, what other strategy can I use? I'll just bring the tray and pass around everybody. Don't spray me. You can put the money, want to spray me here. Would they be willing to do that? Well, I just announced Mr. Sunday is giving me 500,000. Mr. Joe has just said he will give me 1 million. Everybody clap for him. Now, these are the things that this wedding of mine, that is a project, contains. So by the time I carry this framework, this prototype, and show it to Mr. Sunday, say, guys, this is what I put on ground. They say, this venue, I don't think this venue is it's too small. It's too small. Hey, that DJ, are you sure it's not all those ones that will come and be making noise? Who is your MC? No. Let's get somebody more professional and all of that. That is what working on the entire project of that wedding in order to ensure that we have the result that we desire. That is what the charter. Every information that any project will ever have is contained on that document. At the end of the day, the stakeholders look at it, okay, you are getting 4 professionals, okay, you are getting 4 unskilled labor. Can you defend it? Why are you getting 4 unskilled and not 7? Why are you getting 4 skilled workers and not the other way around? You must, as a project manager, be able to defend everything that is written in that document. It's not a situation where somebody has actually. I was just thinking about it. Well, I don't know, sir, but what is your opinion? No, you are supposed to constructively, convincingly tell me the reasons behind your actions. That is what project charter is. A document that contains all the necessary information as far as the project is concerned, right? Not only, like we say, will you have it in the construction world, even in business. The business that you are going into, what is it contained? Who are your stakeholders? Who are your creditors? Who are your debtors? Who are your workers? What is the long-term plan? What is the objective of setting up this business? Then we talk about develop project management plan. Developing what? The project management plan. The process of detailing, preparing, and coordinating all plans, the components, and coordinating them into what? An integrated project management plan. Mr. Ojo, can you explain that line? I'm sure you are seeing my slide, right? Are you seeing my slide?
Yes, sir. We are seeing your slides, sir.
Okay. Okay. We said that after developing your project charter, the second is develop project management plan. And we said that is the process of defining, preparing, and coordinating all plans components and consolidating them into an integrated project management plan. Is that self-explanatory? From the point of the management perspective, there are certain things that must be planned on the management level. The management sit down to plan. Is it your workers that will begin to plan on how to generate funds for the project? Is it your workers that will tell you the long-term return on investment for that project? They are not. It starts from the management level. How do we execute this? What and what do we need? Once we are able to deliberate and come to an agreement of what we want, we can then do what? Push it out. And then find a way to integrate what we have planned into what? Into the project in order to get what we want. The third one, we say direct and manage project work. Direct and manage project work. Don't forget, we are still talking on project integration management processes. First and foremost, develop your project charter, followed by developing project management plan and directing and managing your project work. We talk about manage project knowledge. Manage project knowledge, the process of using existing knowledge and creating new knowledge to achieve the project objectives and contribute to organizational learning. Sometimes, like Mr. Ojo said, the project that you have today, the knowledge put into it, the expertise put into it, the requirements put into it may not work in the next project. It may not work in the next project. But the truth is, even if it will not work in the next project, for every project that is done, that is embarked on, that is executed, there are lessons learned at the end of the project. These lessons learned at the end of the project is something that can be transferred into the next project. For example, it is common sense. We started the last project late, and there was consequences for that. We were penalized for that. Common sense, that was lessons learned. Mr. Ojo said, hey, Mr. Gabriel, I told you my family were relocating back to Nigeria for a holiday. The building ought to have been completed in the last 1 month. Because of this, at the end of the day, my money, my payment is withheld. Why? Because of my inability to complete as at when it ought to have been completed. That is lessons learned by me. Next time, Mr. Ojo gives me a contract, common sense will tell me, guy, remember what happened when you were nonchalant, when you were lackadaisical towards starting on time where you did not pay attention to time. Your time management was poor. Remember the consequences that Mr. Sunday held back your money. Do you want the same thing to happen now that you are doing business for Mr. Ojo? I will give myself brain, say, wow, no, it cannot happen this time. That is what lessons learned. Now I have transferred the lessons learned during Mr. Sunday's regime down to Mr. Ojo's regime so that it will not affect the project anymore. So these are knowledge. These are lessons learned. And in every project that is executed, there is a document that contains lessons learned in the course of that project. The mistakes that we made, how were we able to correct ourselves? What were some of the challenges? How did we overcome it? The reason for that is I may not be there in that organization forever. Somebody else comes in, looks into the lessons learned document and say, wow, okay, they faltered in this aspect. Okay, they had this challenge. Okay, this was the outcome. This was how they overcame it and all of that. It gives that person a smooth operation. It gives that person an idea on how to operate within the confine of that project, within the scope of that project, within the scope of the organization. So manage what? Project knowledge. Monitor and control project work. The process of tracking, reviewing, and reporting overall process to meet the performance objectives defined in the project management plan. We need to monitor, we need to evaluate, we need to review, we need to report. What do we have on the management, the project management plan? Is it going in line with what we have? Are the workforce or the workers executing in line with the prototype that was given to them? Is there any form of deviation from the actual so that we can make necessary corrections before it gets out of hand? Monitor and control. Then we talk about perform integrated change control. What do we mean by integrated change control? In every organization, sometimes things are not done in a stereotyped manner. There are always changes. In project management, we say for every change that occurs, no matter how little it is, do not overlook it. Do not take it for granted. Do not say it is minute. What are you expected to do as a professional project manager is to do what? Communicate. Communicate. I cannot effect any change in the course of the project without first and foremost communicating the plan to the stakeholders and seeking approval for such change to be effected. You can't. You can't. As a project manager, you can't. I don't know if I'm correct or I'm right, but I just know that you cannot as a project manager. Despite what you know, despite what you know, despite your professionalism, it is ethical. It is even more professional that for any change that you think about, for any change that you want to implement, you must first and foremost communicate that change to the appropriate authority for approval, for review. They review the change process. We call it change request. Why do you want this person to be moved from this department to this department? My spirit just does not like that guy. The way he does things, I just don't like him. I don't think we can work together and there will be peace here. I don't think so. I think he should just be moved to another department. Is that all? Is that all? Is it now about what you feel or about what the person has to contribute? Is it about your emotions or about what the person can bring to the table? Your emotions should die. Your feelings should die. Just pocket it. If this guy has something to offer, he needs to be on that team. Why are you saying we need to change this this form of technology? Why? So your change control, the process of review all change requests, approving changes, and managing changes to deliverables, organizational process assets, project documents, and the project management plan, and communicating the decisions. Communicating the decisions. Why? That is the question. Why? Can your reason be justified as far as the project is concerned? Then we say close project or phase. The process of finalizing all activities for the project phase or the contract. No project, we said last week, continues forever. It must close. And the closing must come with reviewing, monitoring, evaluation in order to ensure that you are in the right direction. Any question, please? Any question, please?
No questions, yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Isaac Wade from Ghana. I just joined.
You are welcome. You're welcome. Sorry.
So
Okay.
I just joined.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you for joining. We are with you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Just mute your mic and just listen to us. Thank you. So we talk about the mapping, the area mapping, the project management process, and knowledge area mapping. Talking about the initiation, the planning, and the executing. Now, how does these 5 processes, affect the integration process of project management? Anybody, please? How does this affect the integration process? Anybody?
I said I want to try. Hello.
I was asking, how does the 5-process group affect integration process?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so any
Yes,
response
I
to
can
the
hear
to
you.
the question? Any response to the question, please?
Okay, sir. I can see that the five processes affect the project integration in a sense that you can't do or embark on a project without leaving any of the steps. They have to come together.
Okay.
In
Is that
achieving
all?
the aim of the project that you are embarking on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person?
Good afternoon.
Mr. Sunday, don't waste my time now. Mr. Ojo,
Yeah. Okay.
don't
Yes,
waste
for
my
me,
time.
I think it really affects. It has a great effect on the project in the sense that you cannot skip any of the process, because for you to have skip any of the process means that there will be a big problem in the project. So each process must be interconnected. They must be connected. One process must flow to the other, and there is no way you can drop a process and put one before the other. And one process leads to the other, and the next process leads to the other, and the next process leads to the other to be able to close the project. And so it affects the project because you must follow the process in the sequence in which they are, and also you must do the whole processes for your project to be successful. Like Mr. Isaac said, if not, the project wouldn't be successful, and it must be followed in the manner in the sequence in which it is. One process flows into the other, and the next process flows into the other, and the next process, and naturally your project comes to a close. And for it not to be done in that manner, it means that your project can never come to a fruitful completion. So it does have an adverse effect on the project.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Sunday. Mr. Sunday, are you there? You see, the reason I'm asking now, it's one thing to just sit back, just listen, you know, to see or hear what they are saying or what they are doing and all of that. Let us also hear from you. How does this affect you as a person? If you find yourself in a position where you are to express yourself as far as this is concerned, how would you express yourself convincingly and professionally that someone listening to you will say, oh, of a truth, he's got a knowledge of project management? So when I ask question and I'm particular, okay, about just a few people respond, you are not doing anybody any good. Rather, it is yourself, because what you keep saying becomes part of you. If you are faced with an examination, you will be able to express yourself because of what you know. Mr. Ojo shares his ideas. Mr. Sunday does the same. Orivo does the same. Mr. Ojo can pick from Mr. Sunday. Mr. Sunday picks from Mr. Ojo, and so it goes on. So please, let's come out from our shell. It's for our own good. All right, so we talk about the initiating, the planning, controlling, don't forget, these are the 5 processes of what? Project management. Under it, we have the project scope management. The initiation has to do with what? The developing what? The project charter. Do you see how it works? Last week we said initiation has to do with what? An idea. Conceptualization of idea. What do I want this project to be? So whatever is your initiation, whatever is what you conceive as an idea is contained in the project charter. It becomes your what? Your manuscript, your manual, your policy book. The policy book is not gotten any elsewhere. It's as a result of your idea. It's as a result of what you have conceived concerning that particular project. So every project has its own project charter document that is what? That is written. As no two project is ever the same. So the project charter document that I have for project A, I cannot use it to execute project B. No, I have to do what? Bring about the project charter document for that particular. So the initiating talks about what? Developing. Then we talk about the planning. You plan the scope management, collect requirements, define the scope, create your WBS. Can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. What do we understand by WBS? WBS. In business, WBS is there. In the family, WBS is there. In our offices, WBS is there. So it is not only for the engineering people. Before you say, I don't know, it's only for engineering. What is WBS?
Work breakdown structure.
Mr. Rivio, you said work breakdown structure.
Yes.
I disagree with you. Any other person? Any other person?
Work breakdown schedule.
Work breakdown
Work breakdown schedule.
I also disagree with you, sir. Any other person?
Work breakdown structure.
Work breakdown structure, Mr. Sunday. I also disagree with you. Any other person?
Yeah, I disagree with you, sir. It is work breakdown structure, sir. It is
You
work breakdown
okay?
structure.
You two, you are not disagreeing with me.
Yes, I stand on it. It's work breakdown structure.
So you are not disagreeing with me.
Yes.
It's,
You are not
yeah,
right.
it is work. Yeah, it's the same. Work breakdown schedule. Work breakdown structure. Yeah, work breakdown structure.
By virtue of
We
my
can't be too
position,
knowledgeable beyond
By
the
virtue of my
instructor, the facilitator. As long as you
By
said we are wrong.
by virtue of my position, we are all wrong. Any other person? Ruth, are you here with us? Anaka, are you here? Kwambe, you are not saying anything. Tom, you are not saying anything.
Is work breakdown structures.
Work breakdown structure. Okay, you want me to agree with you that is work breakdown structure?
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Ruth, what are you saying? WBS.
Okay, so it's work breakdown structure.
Work breakdown structure. You know why I would decide to go with work breakdown structure? Because of that voice. That's the only thing that will make me to agree with every other person.
I said.
So Ruth has just saved us. So if not, I would not have agreed with any of you. All right. So when we talk about WBS, we are talking about work breakdown structure. A situation where the work is broken down into different fragment components that every person knows exactly what his or her responsibility or responsibilities are. I cannot do what is assigned to Mr. Orivo. I cannot do Oversabi to take over Mr. Ojo's job because the work has been broken down in such a way that, one, based on our levels of professionalism, our levels of expertise, our skills, our technological know-how, and all of that, the work has been broken down in such manner so that every person that is suitable for that position, for that particular job, is given that job. So this has to be what planned for. In the course of the project, it has to be planned for. Have looked at Mr. Sunday's CV. It's excellent. His track record is second to none. The companies that he's done projects for, men, multinationals. He's gotten about 25 years of experience on the job. Will I now say, okay, it's just because the way each time he drives into the organization, into the company, he'll just be doing anyhow as if now be the first person to buy motor. I don't like that guy. I can't give him this work. No, I can't give him this work. Such should not come to bear as far as the project is concerned. Whether Mr. Ojo leaves his car on from the beginning of the day to the end is none of my business. My business is he's qualified for this job. He's got to do it to give me results. That's all. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. So work breakdown, structure has to be planned for. And then we talk about executing. Direct and manage project work, manage project knowledge. All the work that we are put into has to be what? Well managed. Then monitoring and controlling. Of course, when we are managing, when we are monitoring, when we are controlling the work, that is where we also ensure that every change request is taken into consideration. What needs to be changed must be well communicated, must be well addressed, analyzed, and agreed upon before it is what effected. Of course, the closing is very important. We also talk about the project schedule, the project cost management. All of this that is being itemized tells you the function of each item. The function of each item that you cannot bypass this in order to go into this and get the result. No, the 5 of them go together. How can I have a successful project when I'm less concerned about the cost management procedures? How? The expert will come. So how much are we? How much are you paying me for the job? So, don't worry, let's just finish the work first. Does it work that way? The supplier will come, okay, I just need XYZ cartons of materials and all of that. Hey, but sir, when am I getting the payment? Don't worry. How much is it? Sir, you've not even asked about the price. Don't worry. Let us finish the project first. I need to first and foremost count my cost before integrating all of this into the management plan. It is unprofessional for me to have stakeholders meeting and they ask me, how much is this particular item? And I say, actually, sir, I can't really tell. For now, I really don't have idea how much it is. Hello. So what do I get committed into? How much will I know that this project costs? A lot is expected from a project manager. It's not just enough to put cap on your head, call hat, wear safety boots, wear safety materials, and say you're a project manager. You wear glasses or Google. It's more than that. And you are carrying barrel, carrying piece of paper, running around everywhere. It is much more than that. A lot is expected. When you see a project that is standing, you will tell the quality of the project manager on that job. The quality of a project also shows the in-depth disposition of the project manager. Because when the project manager is in-depth, every other thing around him will reflect the kind of quality materials he gets, the kind of workforce that he gets, the resources, the effective utilization of the resources will be seen. How he manages his stakeholders will equally be seen. But when you go and get primary 6, just finish school, say, what do you do? I'll be project manager. Leave that thing. When he finishes the job, you also know that is really a scattered project manager. So all of these must be what? Must be included in what? In the project management plan. We talk about the quality management. Can you substantiate quality from any project? You see, there are certain projects that you drive past. As you are driving, your neck is turned backward. Why? You are still in awe of what? The site of the project that you saw. Say, wow, who did this? Who did this? It is magnificent. It's wonderful. Why? Quality was not compromised. Quality was not looked down on. Quality was given the right attention needed. We talk about project resource management. Of course, we've dealt with that. Project resource management, your ability to effectively make use of resources efficiently and effectively to achieve the desired result. What about risk management? What about risk management? So in your integration, in your project management integration or integration project management, you must integrate all of these into that project. You must do what? Integrate all of this into what? Into the project. What is the level of risks for this project? What if scenario? What are the other options? My plan A, B, C, if possible. Like we said before, what if along the line certain staff decide to resign? What happens? What do I do? That is risks. That is risks. So all of these must be what? Must be well integrated. That should anything happen, this is what I will do. I have solution to what? To the problems. So we must understand how all of this affects the overall interest of the project work. So what should I know about project integration management. What should I know about it? First and foremost, includes making choices related to resource allocation, making trade-offs among competing objectives and alternatives, and managing interdependencies of the project management knowledge areas. Whatever choice that you are making, it has to relate proportionately to the project. Resource allocation, resource control. The reason for the project manager's existence, the primary role. What you should know, the reason for the project manager's existence, the primary role. What is the primary role? Your primary role is result-oriented assignment or goal. That result-oriented goal gives birth or is culminating with every other component that you can ever think of. Because without which, you cannot get the result. Without the result, you are not existing as a project manager. What are you showing for? What do you live to show for? Result, you don't have. Track record, you don't get. Resource allocation, you don't have. So what then are you living for? Don't join them and be carrying pom-pom, that's all. Then we talk about the only knowledge areas with processes in all 5 process groups. Your knowledge of the 5 process group is one of the things that you should know. Your initiation, your planning, execution, your control, and your closing. Those are the 5 that you should know about. Describe the high-level work the project manager does. Project management processes do not happen interdependently. The project manager integrates them in order to achieve project objectives. No project happens in isolation. Procurement departments are doing their own thing. Nobody cares. Human resources management, the supervisors, they are in their own world. This foreman, their own world. Nobody integrates them. Without integrating them, you cannot get the results that you want. Okay? So these are the things that we should know. Now, develop project charter. Establish partnership with the organization that requests the work and the one that conducts the work. This is how you develop your project charter. We said it's a document that contains the totality of the information, detailed information concerning a particular project within the scope, the lifespan of such a project. First and foremost, establish a partnership between the organization that requests the work and the one that conducts the work. For example, Mr. Ojo is requesting the work. I cannot on my own as a project manager sit and then just bring out a project charter. No, first and foremost, he's the one that owns the project. Excuse me, sir. What is your concept about this project? What do you intend to achieve? Give us an idea of what you want or how you want your project to be. Right? He tells you, you see, I'm a man of quality. I'm an influential man in the society. I want a kind of project that, you see, because of the kind of people that I surround myself with, whenever they come, they will know that of the truth, yes, I have done something magnificent. He has passed a message to me as the project manager on how for me to develop the project charter. First, I will consider his high tests as far as quality is concerned. I will consider his reputation in the society. I will consider every other thing that he has mentioned in passing unconsciously to him, that he has just passed a message to me. All of these will assist me in bringing about my project charter. Because if I know that Mr. Ojo is an influential man, there are certain things I will not do because it will jeopardize his status in the society. By the time his friends come, say, Mr. Ojo, now, wow, who construct this kind thing for you? Look at your sitting room. Hey, guy, I bet bend your head, that's if you follow. How will it look like? What a shame will it be to him? Just paint the scenario that is having dinner with his friends and they are making jest of him. But because I know who he is, I will integrate quality into it. Integrating quality into it means also that the quality of people, the staff that will execute the project will be quality staff, not just anyhow people. The technology that will be deployed will be high-level technology. Why? Because of the person involved in the project. So you see, I have been able to establish a relationship with the organization, which at this point is Mr. Ojo, right? And then we are working hand in hand to ensure that we derive the project charter document to give us an insight into how the project will be like. Do we understand that? Do we understand that first point? If you do, just signify in the comment section. Or you want us to simplify it the more? If you do, just say I do in the comment section quickly.
I do. For the purpose of clarity, please simplify it once again. Thank you.
For the purpose of clarity. Okay. Somebody says for the purpose of clarity. Okay. I said before that project charter. Follow me and you get it. It's simple. A project charter is a document that contains all the information, all the detailed analysis of the projects. Whatever, when I mean whatever is whatever you want in that project, how you want to execute it, the purpose of that project, the people that will execute it for you, the objectives, the benefits, the challenges, the risks, everything is contained in what? In that document. Now, based on this first point, that establish a partnership between the organization that requests that they work, that they request the work, and the one that conducts the work. Now, Mr. Ojo is the organization that is requesting the work. I am the one to conduct the work. And I said, I cannot sit on my own. I am not in Mr. Ojo's mind to know his level of quality anticipation. I'm not in his mind. I don't know the kind of person that Mr. Ojo is in the society. Now I'm about to write the project charter document. I go to Mr. Ojo, who is the organization that is giving me the job. Hello, sir. Thank you for the offer given. It's a privilege that we have been selected as the executors of this project. So, sir, we will want to ask few questions to have an insight as to what you want. Please, can you tell us your expectation on the project? How do you want the project to be? What is, just tell us. Mr. Ojo says, Mr. Gabriel, thank you very much. You see, my name is Barrister Mr. Ojo, PDD, MPP, AID, PDI, FBI, SEC, and all of that. I'm a man well recognized in this society. My friends are well known. I belong to the Billionaires Club, and by the grace of God, this project, I want it executed so that I can have a dinner with my friends in the next Billionaire Conference meeting. As a person, as the one to conduct this project, Mr. Ojo has given me insight as to what his expectations are concerning the project. First and foremost, I can deduce that this man is a man of quality. I can also deduce that this man holds, position in the society. He mingles with the billionaires. Therefore, for me to bring about my project charter document, I must integrate all of these. I must be focused on what? On quality. I must begin to know, okay, he's talking about quality. That means we need to get the best of what? Materials. That is quality. We also need to get the best of human capital. That is quality. We also need to get the best of technology. That is what? That is quality. If we are getting the best, we are now talking about cost. What will it cost us to get the best hands on the job, the best equipment, the best technology on the job? Do we have the capacity, first and foremost, to give him an edifice that will make him proud? We are talking about quality. We are talking about client stakeholders' expectation that must be met. And that expectation must be contained in the project charter document so that everybody that reads it, everybody that comes across, understands exactly what the project stands for, what the project is all about. It's not a kind of project that you do, the friends come in and like, Mr. Ojo, who consulted this kind of thing for you? Mr. Sunday, bend your head or let this thing not follow. How will Mr. Ojo feel? He will feel bad. Why? Because quality was not given priority. The quality given to him does not support his status in the society. That's exactly what we are talking about. So everything, how we are going to achieve the project is contained in the project charter. I don't know if you understand me now, sir.
Sir,
Sorry?
very clear. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The second one is, once approved, it formally initiates the project. Once the project charter is written, it is analyzed, deliberated on, it is argued, counter-argument, and eventually it is approved. What you need to do is to do what? Initiate the project. Then we talk about the project manager. Who becomes the project manager? There are certain projects that a certain project manager cannot embark on. Why? Your level of knowledge is highly important. It is on. See, the thing is, oftentimes we have made ourselves a laughing stock as project managers. We have made ourselves very, very, very unserious. Let me put it that way. It is not every project that you can accept as a project manager. Let's be realistic. Let's tell ourselves the truth. This is the gathering of professionals. This is the gathering of professionals. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It is not every project that you take up as a project manager. Mr. Ojo, am I correct? Mr. Sunday, Mr. Rivo.
Sir,
You are very correct. You are very correct, sir. Very, very
You're
correct.
very
Absolutely
correct.
correct.
You are very correct.
Thank you.
For example, in the mining industry, you can't give a mining project to someone who did procurement without having knowledge in mining.
Thank you. It's as if, you see, it is only in this part that Mr. Ojo, what are you? A project manager. You can do anything in this world as a project manager. They look at you, oh, he's a project manager. That means he can work in the mining industry, he can work in the aerospace industry, he can work in the transport industry. No, let us try as much as possible to carve a niche for ourselves. We all like money, but sometimes don't go and rope yourself into something that you are not qualified for, or you don't have the competencies for, you don't have the technical know-how for. No, that has always been the bent of our problems here in Nigeria. I'm sorry to say. Because I'm a project manager doesn't make me a project manager of all discipline. No, I should be able to stick to where I am knowledgeable about. If somebody approaches me today and say, Mr. Gabriel, I'm actually looking for a project manager that can work in the mining space and all of that, I know I am not competent. Yes, let me use that word. I'm not competent. But as a professional that I am, first and foremost, is for me to tell that person, I do not have the capacity for, or that is not my line. But let me check in the community of project managers. I might be lucky to find one that specializes in that field and simply give the person the contract. Bring the two of them together and let them do whatever they want to do. But no, I'll say, yes, I can, sure. Actually, I've just finished a particular project with in the creek in Bayelsa. I just finished a project there. Really? Okay, send me your proposal. I'll start running helter skelter. 1 week, I'm still looking for what to write. 2 weeks, 2 months, I'm still looking for. Maybe eventually, peradventure, I'm able to lie, and find my way. The next thing, I come and execute. Voila. I'll now go and meet Mr. Ojo. You see, there's this project. I know you are equal to the task. You are a professional. Please, can you come and do it? Mr. Ojo will be lost. Why? He does not have a full brief of what the project is all about. Because of my greed, I will say, no, I'm the one that brought the project to you. Just do it. Let's share 30-70. Take 30, I take 70. Mr. Ojo will just, okay, no problem. I'll get back to you. And he never gets back to me. Why? Because I am taking the wrong step. What stops me from saying, Mr. Ojo, this is a project that your company can execute. Take up the project. I link him and the person together. I stay out. If we want to carry out contract, I can say, okay, Mr. Ojo, you are the one doing everything. All I need is maybe 1%, 2%. And everybody smiles. What have I been able to do? I've been able to carve a niche for myself that I am not competent in this area, but someone else is. That is where we are. And it is very, very wrong. Identify a project manager suitable for that project. Suitable for that project. Then we talk about give the project manager authority to plan and execute the project. There must be an authority relinquished to the project manager in order to plan and execute. Describe the purpose of the project. It's part of the project charter. The purpose is included there. You may include, if known at the time, pre-assigned resources, stakeholder requirements, high-level risks, milestones, and what have you. All of these are included in the project charter. Describe the product of the project. What will be delivered? Document measurable objectives. List what is required for approval and who does the approval. Summarize the budget. And then a closeout. All of these items is what is contained. By the time you have this in your project charter, any person that goes through it knows that you actually know what you're doing. That you actually know what you are doing. And everything written is defended. You can defend it. You can convince me why you are what? Taking that route. That is what we need to understand. So we talk about the project charter. Don't forget we make mention of the cost. We made mention of the cost, right? Last week, we talked about common managerial skills that a project manager should have. We are not saying as a project manager, you should be a statistician. We are not saying that you should have PhD in further mathematics. We are not saying you should have PhD in pure maths, but at least a little knowledge of calculation will do. A little knowledge of calculation will do. A little knowledge of interpretation of data will be enough, will be sufficient. Why? You may decide to have a department whose sole responsibility is to analyze the project in terms of quantitative, analysis. There are people that will be able to give you an insight to, the long-term return on investment. They calculate it for you in a way that is understandable. And you look at it, you plus this and this, times this and this, minus this and this, and you are able to get the answer. You may not be able to do everything, right? As a project manager. You may not be able to do everything. So we talk about the present value. What is the present value of that project? What is the interest rate on that project? What is the return on investment on that project? If a particular project is cost $500 million today, using the current exchange rate and doing all your plus and minus, your permutation and combination, considering the changes in economic state, the fluctuating rate in the exchange, what will be in the next 3 years? What will it be in the next 4 years? Is it worth investing or not? Is it worth investing? Some people will tell you, okay, the company is worth $5 billion US. In the next 10 years, all things being equal, it will worth maybe $1.5 trillion. If my share in this company is 200 million in the next 10 years, what will be my dividends? What will be my dividends? So we talk about the present value, right? We talk about the cash flow. We talk about the rate of returns. And then we talk about what? The number of periods. The number of periods is talking about the number of years. If I am to wait for this project to materialize, what? Okay, for example, developers. Let's use developers. You see a particular plot of land. Let's say about 2 plots of land. Depending on the area, the 2 plots of land goes for 500 million to 250 each. And then you want to build an apartment, serviced apartment, 8 units of 3-bedroom flat. 8 units of 3-bedroom flat. Deploy all, technologies and all of that into state-of-the-art furniture fittings and what have you. The property is 500 million as of today for 2 plots. The cost of finishing everything, talking about documentation, getting approvals, building, finishing, furniture, just name it, is about 1 billion naira. That's already 1.5 billion that you will put into the building. Now, if you are building 8 units of 3-bedroom flat, and each of the units is, let's say, 200,000 naira. Okay, let's say 1 million. Each of the units is 1 million. That is how much? 8 million in a year. How many years will you have to wait in order for you to realize the 1.5 billion that you used in the building? That's exactly what we are talking about, the business case formulas. Now you ask yourself, oh boy, if it is 1 million naira, so every year I'm collecting 8 million. Hey, before somebody will collect reach 500 million, you would have grown old. In fact, you may not even live to witness when you collect up to $1 million. So the question is it worth investing? Is this particular business worth investing? What if I now inject that 1.5 billion into another business, and that business in the next 1 year gives me a return of 500 million, which is more profitable? Which is more profitable? That is the reason you see some developers will not want to concentrate in a particular locality, in a particular community. Why? Because the rate of return is low. We all know, some of us know Victoria Island, Banana Island, maybe Ikoyi, of course. Some of us, Maitama, Garki, and all of that. You cannot compare a plot of land or the houses there to another community that is not recognized, that is not known. People of influence are not living there. So Where would you rather do your business? You would rather do it where you'll be able to recoup your money as soon as possible than building 3-bedroom duplex or flat in a town where the average people there are just maybe they can afford to rent a house for 150,000 or 100,000. Who is going to live there? Your investment will not be profitable. That's one of the things that is contained in the project charter. Why are we doing this business? Okay, we are carrying out this business because from the business case formula that we have derived, we have been able to see that in the next 5 years, if we invest 1 million naira, we are going to generate 30 million naira in the next 5 years. That is the return on investment. But in another place, if we invest 1 million naira in the next 5 years, we can generate return on the investment, maybe 3 million naira, just 2 million in 5 years. So we must be able to do what? Have the business case formula injected into the project charter to give us an insight, to give your customers or your clients, your stakeholders, an insight into what they should be expecting. If you do this and send, somebody says, wow, he actually knows what he's doing. Not like they ask you, say, this project, okay, when we finish, let's say in the next 5 years, God will help us. So the way things are going like this, sir, it's only God that will help us, so we don't really know. Then I'll know that you are not a serious human being. Tell me, for facts, you may not be 100% accurate, but tell me something. Let me know whether to invest or not, right? So we talk about the project charter input, the agreement, that is the contract. We talk about the enterprise environmental factors, organizational process asset. Let's take note of enterprise environmental factors and organizational process asset. When we talk about enterprise environmental factors, we are talking about government policies, industry standards and regulations, organizational culture, marketplace conditions. This is an enterprise. It has to do with the environment in which we are operating from. It has to do with what? The environment in which we are operating from. Do we have the government backing? Have we been able to meet up with government policies? And what have you? What are the organizational cultures that can make this project not to work? Don't forget, we are still talking about project charter. It is contained there. What are the organizational cultures? What are the government policies that if we fail to honor, this project will not survive? They'll just come mark X before we'll finish arguments, sorting, carrying our files up and down 3 months. But do you know that we have elapsed the time that was given to the stakeholder to deliver the product or the project? We have exceeded the time. Why? Because of what? Enterprise environmental factors. Factors, things that can help the organization or the project to either grow or not, to either be executed or stand still. Marketplace condition, organizational process data, organizational standard, the policies, process definition, the template, historical documents, and lessons learned knowledge base. We are talking about within the organization, what are some of the things that we can work? What are some of the things that we can work with? The organizational standard processes. What is the standard of this organization? What are the policies? Are the policies not for us to work with. Does the policy back this particular project? You talk about templates. What is the existing template that the organization has been working? Historical information. I need to have an historical information of this organization. They are projects or productized organization. Can I have the information, historical data since their inception? How many times have they failed? What did they do? What was the outcome? In this organization, how many people have resigned within the period of 1 year? I want to see it there. What are the lessons that we have learned, in this number of years? Then we talk about the output. The project charter, document issued by the project requestor or the sponsor that provides formal authorization for the project and gives the authority to the manager to apply resources to the activities. The document is given to the sponsor. He now provides a formal authorization so that the project manager can be given all the powers he needs in order to execute, allocate the resources at his disposal. So, what should we know about the project management plan? Develop iteratively. Define how the project will be executed, monitor, control, and use. Include at least 3 baselines: the scope, the schedule, and the cost. These items are very important. These baselines are very important. The scope. Do not deviate from what you were asked, the original picture. Say, no, I just thought of it. Oh, my mind just tell me I should do it this way. It is not about your mind. It is not about what your mind is telling you. It is about what is in the project charter. You hear some people say, I just did it. I was just, my mind just, I drove past somewhere and I saw this thing. I should do it. They say, who sent you? Who sent you? It's not about your mind. Is it contained in the project charter? If it is contained, then it ought to be. If it is not contained, then it ought not to be. If at all it ought to be, it must be well communicated for approval. And if it is not approved, it cannot be. If it is approved, then it can be. It's as simple as that. But somebody will say, does it mean that I cannot be, how do I put it? That I cannot, okay, does it mean that I cannot think outside the box? Does it mean that I cannot do something different? Can somebody answer that question, please? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, you can think outside the box, but there must be a change request that is generated and approved. If generated that change request, then it must be approved.
Thank you, sir. On the other hand, I can also say, is it every time that I'll just small thing that I want to change? Am I not the project manager? Don't I know the best thing to do? Why should I be running up and down and going for approval for this small thing that I just want to change? What will you say to that person?
It is that person is that we have to tell him to still follow the process of change. He has to follow the protocol of change, because the change, small it may be, he doesn't know the effect it might have. Because as a project manager, you really cannot see everything. No matter how you see, you still have limitation to what you see, because once you change, it will affect how the professionals are going to work, how they're going to approach the project entirely. So this process needs to be documented and the appropriate change needs to be looked at. And even when you say you change, you are changing. Everybody needs to look at it holistically. And the reason for even doing it like that is that you don't want, as a project manager, for the people to think that you have personalized the project, that what you say is what will happen. You have become a suzerain. No. You are trying to create an avenue for everybody to participate. It's a project. We listen to every advice and also every suggestion to make it so that everybody should know that, oh, it's our project. We are open to suggestion, because if you would do it like that, other people will also take it as a yardstick. So now small one, project manager do one. So why me not go do one? As they say, leadership by example. You say the example, as small as it is, you follow the protocol and then you initiate the process. Every other person who would want to change too will realize that before I make changes, there's a need for me to talk to project manager, because that's more project manager want to change that time. Now so you call everybody before you change them. So it is necessary that I go back to the project manager, because the changes is not about you as a project manager. It's about every stakeholder in the project, the professionals, the artisans, and even the labor on site. That plan that you are bringing, how do we execute it?
Thank
What does
you
it mean to
very
the
much.
project? The deviation from the
Yeah,
plan. Thank you. All right.
thank,
Thank
thank
you,
you
sir.
very much. Yes, sir. You see, for everything, every project that is given, there are reasons for, right? It's just like you are building a house and then you are not there. You contracted it to somebody and you told the person, I want my sitting room to be pure white. I want the paint of my sitting room to be pure white. You have your reasons for that. You know why you want it white. And the person looking at it in his own small mind as the manager of the project, say, no, I do white. This man has children. This place will be getting dirty every now and then. White. I don't think white is nice. Then let me give them watercolor. And they now paint watercolor. Say, sir, you see, actually, it does have your interest at that, because I was looking at it for me to do white, and I know that you have children. I know children like drawing. Your wall will just be messed up every now and then. The man will first and foremost just open mouth and look at him, spill out rubbish. The question is, did I send you? Do you know why I wanted white? Even if at all you wanted to change, did you tell me that, oh, these are my reasons? So, peradventure, I may not even have looked at it from that angle as the owner to say, okay, well, my children, they can be drawn today, yellow crayon, would play fingers, it will get messed up. The question is, did you notify me? So, as project managers, there is no change that is little. There is no change that is inconsequential. There is no change that is minute that should be overlooked or people should be consulted. No change. Don't do it. If it is not there, don't do it. Right? So we talk about it's an approved document controlled that cannot be changed unless it changes generated and approved. Just hear this. A change request is generated and approved. It is not what you know, it is what is approved. Should be in alignment with the program management plan if possible. So the project management plan should not be confused. The project management plan should not be confused with what the project document. They are different things, different documents all together. project management plan talks about the initiation, the planning stage on how to go. The project charter talks about how it will be, the apparatus, the methodologies that will be employed for that. So we should take note of that. So, of course, we've talked about enterprise, environmental factors, and the rest. Okay, the project management plan, the baseline, talking about the scope, the schedule, the cost. Then other ones may include the human resource management plan and the scope, the life cycle of the project can also be part of it. Direct and manage work, project work. We talk about the input, talking about the project plan, management plan, project document, approved change request, enterprise environmental factors. These constitute the input. Then when you talk about the tools and the techniques, you are talking about the expert judgment, the project management information system, meetings, and all of that. These are what the input. Now, when we are talking about project management plan, like we said, this is what the initiation process, under the initiation process, where you begin to plan, where you begin to, carry out your documents or documentation, effecting change requests and what have you, considering your enterprise environmental factor. Then the tools and the techniques, now talking about what tools, what techniques are we going to adopt to put in place in order for us to be able to execute what we have put down. One of the techniques, okay, let's deliberate. Let's have a joint session. Let's have an interactive session. Let's have brainstorming session. Let's go for meetings. Let's invite experts. That's expert judgment. Let's look at, okay, the previous lessons from the organization. Can learn from it and move on. And then we talk about the deliverables. That's under the output. The work performance data, the change request, the project management plan update, project document update. Once the change has been requested for, approval is made, it becomes an output. Because now we are now going to follow the approved plan in order to get the result. So the other plan is now counterfeited. It is the second plan that we are now following to get the result. So it becomes what? It becomes our own output. So that's all of this is just a repetition of what we have here, talking about expert judgment, knowledge management, information management. We say that under this, that it is used to discuss and address pertinent topics of the project when directing and managing project work. The information management, each attendee should have a defined role to ensure appropriate participation. We should be able to have what? A defined role. I know what I am doing. Mr. Ojo knows what he's doing. It gives us a sense of ownership of the project. It gives us a sense of direction as far as the project is concerned. I have a role to play. I'm an important contributor to the, completion or the success of the project. So we look at monitor and control the input. One of such that is very important is the project document. We talk about assumption log, basis for estimate, cost forecast, issue log, lessons learned register, milestone list, quality report, risk register, risk report, schedule forecast. What is the difference between risk register and risk report? What is the difference between risk register and risk report? Ruth, are you there? Ruth, are you there? Over to you.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Yes, the difference between risk register and risk report.
Okay. A risk register is just a document where you record all the risks that you encounter, while a risk report is a document which you record a risk that has occurred, and this document is forwarded to the appropriate authority.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other person? Difference between risk report and risk register.
Let me try on my own. From my own
Yes, sir.
understanding, I think risk register just take account of the risk. Then risk report gives a detailed account of the risk that actually happened during the project, elucidating how it happened, probably why it happened, and probably if it can be avoided. So the report is more of a detailed, but the register is just to list the possible risk that are inherent or risk that was not listed but later occurred during the project can be listed on the register via other changes control method. But the report gives a detailed account of how the risk actually affected the project and why, and some other things that would have, I think that's my own.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much. Any other person?
Sir, the risk register is where you document specific risks and how to handle them. Now, the risk report summarizes the risks you have identified, which have occurred, what responses you have implemented, and the overall risk exposure to the project. And then the risk that affected the project in the course of embarking is the risk report.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we have just said it all: risk register and risk report. Right? You are in the school as a class teacher. Excuse me. As a class teacher, you have your student register, and then you have your class report. Right? These are two different documents, but one person
Èmi
is
náà ò
in
rò
charge
bẹ́ẹ̀.
of it.
Àwọn
So you are talking
mo
about
mo
risk.
ṣe bèrè láìpẹ́ ṣé ẹ tí nírú incidents báyìí rí ni báwo lẹ ṣe
Please,
resolve?
Adesinola, mute your mic.
Oh, sorry.
I'll crave the indulgence of the management. I think I'll be making money every Saturday from next week. Anybody that disrupt our class on muting the mic and talking while I'm talking will pay a fine of 1,000 naira. So if 10 people can do that, that is 10,000 naira for me. You see my initiative now. I am going to do what? Write my project charter for this, how I'm going to generate it, who is going to hold the money for me. which account is going to pay it in and when. So, Mr. Ojo, you remind me at the end of the class. Thank you. So, like I was saying, you talk about the register. Just having the names of all the students in your class. That aside. And then you now have your report. The report gives you each of so in this aspect, the risk register itemizes the number of risks that has been identified within an organization or within the lifespan of that project. Now, the risk record or report is giving you an analysis, right? An analysis of the number of risks that has happened. Let's say, for example, we're having a risk register, and we say, okay, people can be open to when you inhale, all these bad substances, either inflammable chemicals and all of that. One of the risks is that you can fall, you can slump. One of the risks is your breath can just cease. One of the risks is you can develop fever. One of the risks is, you can begin to have headache, migraines. Why? Because you are inhaling these chemicals. So, in the course of the project, let us begin to analyze how many people were reported to have migraines. 7 people. How many people lost their breath? 5. How many people were unconscious? We have 10. What was done to these people? What kind of treatment did they get? What department suffered? Who took over their responsibilities, their roles? Was it reported to the management? What action did the management take? How much in terms of quantitative and qualitative, analysis did we derive? What can we do to curtail this reoccurrence? This is what the report contains. So that you can present it in the next management meeting. Say, okay, can we have the risk manager or risk assessment manager to give us a brief? Say, okay, in the course of this project, 7 people started vomiting, 6 people, collapsed, 5 people had migraines, maybe unfortunately 1 person died. These were the things that we did. In the course of this, the job was suspended. This other person took over. We assigned the job to this person, which he did. In their absence, we are planning to, the HR manager is putting things in place to have maybe a replacement for the person that lost his life and all of that. They have taken medical treatment. We're able to spend XYZ amount. This is the report from us, and we will suggest going forward to forestall the repetition of this, we will suggest that XYZ is put into consideration and all of that. That is a report. So the project document contains the risk register and the risk report. Then we talk about quality report, milestone, issue log. What do you understand by issue log and assumption log? Issue log and assumption log. Let me mention names. Issue log and assumption log. Mr. Kwembe, Mr. Kwembe, Mr. Raymond, Mr. Teso, and Mr. Tom. It's time for you to answer question. What do you understand by issue log? Any suggestion? Okay, in the absence of the 4 people in the house, I'm sure they
Yes,
just wait to start.
I'm here.
Okay, let me talk
Yeah,
on
can you hear me?
assumption log.
Okay.
Assumption log. Okay, assumption log is just a document that is being monitored continuously in the course of the project.
All right, and then the issue log.
Yeah, let me just for issue log, I would say that is a document that contains information of all issues that occurred during the project and also within the project life.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. Any other person want to say something like that? Mr. Lawrence, Alexander, Mr. Sunday,
For me, assumption log are just assumptions that were made. Just set the assumptions of certain things that were made, and it could be updated. We can assume that, oh, we'll foresee this, we'll foresee that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen during the project. But issue log are certain things that came up, certain issues that was not foreseen in the assumption log that actually now came up, and we have to report it so that probably for future purposes it can be on the assumption log. Those are issue log are those issues that actually came up during the project. Then assumption log are a list of possible assumptions, although some might occur during the project and some may not even occur during the project. That's my own.
Okay. Thank you very much. For every project.
Sir, I'm trying.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, to my understanding, issue log helps in managing potential risks that could arise if these assumptions are incorrect. And then for issue log, the assumption log is assumption log helps in managing potential risks that could arise if these assumptions are incorrect. And then issue log, on the other hand, I will say that it is used to document and then track issues that have already occurred during the project to manage and resolve these issues in a timely and then efficient manner, and then minimize their impact on the project as it goes on.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Like I wanted to say, okay, some other person.
Yeah, I just want to add something with respect to assumption log. Like, in project procurement, there's what we call variation orders. As we encounter some changes within the order, it's especially when it is project procurement, we incorporate all of this variation order into the assumption log.
Okay, go ahead. I hear you.
That's just my input.
Okay. Thank you. Ruth is
Yes,
on
sir.
fire today. Wow.
Okay, for me, my understanding of assumption log, I think it's a log where issues that have not been verified are entered in, while the issue log are issues that have actually occurred and have been verified. Those ones now are listed under the issue log.
Okay. For every project, there must always be issues. You must always have what? Have issues in the course of the projects, either before the project or after the project. Now, this document that is called issue log is a document that contains all of the issues that we encountered during the life cycle of this project, be it before, and after. Before the project and after the project, or in the project as well and after the project. What were the issues that we encountered? Some issues cannot be readily resolved as far as the project is ongoing. You have to suspend it, because if we are to address it, it might affect the life cycle of the project. So what do? We just log it in the document. After the project, it can be what? Addressed. It can be addressed. And then the assumption document, we don't sit back to say, okay, it's possible the way this weather is, it's possible it will rain tomorrow afternoon. That is an assumption. I'm not correct. I'm not saying into tomorrow, but I'm just assuming that it will rain. Or on the other hand, it's not going to rain tomorrow. And boom, it rains. It means that my assumption can either be correct or not correct. If it is correct, of what impact does it have on the project? And if it's otherwise, what impact does it also have on the project? It has to be what? Documented on the assumption log, so that next time, or we are going to the market to procure maybe materials, and in a small mind to say, assumption that because dollar is reducing, the price of cement will also reduce. But on getting to the market, you discover that cement is still sold at 9,000 naira. What is the impact of that, my assumption, on the project? How can we, in the next phase of the project, overcome this assumption so that the negative effects on the project will not be evident? So for me, in this line of saying, okay, procuring materials is first and foremost to get my figures right. I don't need to assume. I don't need to say, hey, Ruth, you see, you can just the way you speak, once you just go there, just speak the English finish, that man will just get and just give you the value. Me to do that ensures that we are not getting it right. We are not getting it right. So that is the explanation to that. So at this point, it is 12:30. Can we have 10 minutes water break so that we can come back and just conclude? Is that okay? Do I have approval from the honorable members of the House? Those in favor say aye. Against say nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Hi.
He said, it is 11:30 in Ghana.
It's 11:30 in Ghana. No,
Yeah, it is
sorry.
11:30 in Ghana.
So you work with our time. So those in favor say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. So we hereby proceed
Aye.
for our recess for 10
All right, sir.
minutes and we'll come back to the
Yo, thank you, sir.
floor of the House. Thank you. Tools and the techniques, talking about data analysis, your alternative analysis, cost benefit analysis, end value analysis, your root cause analysis, your trend analysis, and then your variance analysis. Your variance analysis. So when we talk about alternative analysis, simply put, having an option B, and then you're analyzing that option B to see how that option B, in the event of option A not working, how the option B can be integrated into the project. That is your analysis, alternative analysis. If I cannot work with Mr. Ojo, I have an alternative. Mr. Sunday is there. How can I integrate Mr. Sunday to replacing Mr. Ojo in what he does? Is that alternative the best for me? Will the alternative that I have be equal to what the objectives, the execution of the project will be? Then the cost benefit analysis. As the name implies, what is the cost benefit? If I'm putting this much on this, what is the benefit of it? The worst that can happen is for Mr. Sunday to run away, switch off his phone, and possibly relocate. But if such happens, what is that alternative on analysis that we talked about? I must have a suitable alternative, well analyzed, that will be integrated into the project. We talk about end value analysis. End value analysis. Like we discussed the other time, talking about the business, aspect analysis of the project contained in the project chapter. What is the end and analysis of this project? What is the value? Are we just doing it just for, doing sake? Say, well, there's nothing there, Jare. Instead of somebody to just be at home like that, I should do it like that. There's no good profit, nothing. It doesn't have any value. That cannot be said if you know exactly what you are doing. Then the root cause analysis. We are not talking about symptoms. We are talking about the root cause. We are not talking about the effect of it. We are talking about the root cause. This thing happened. Why? Why did it happen this way? What were some of the triggers? What were some of the forces that, helped in activating this? You are simply dealing with what is evidence, but you are not talking about the root cause. For everything that happens, there's always a root cause that needs to be traced. Once it is traced and you deal with it from that root cause, the tendency that it will not reoccur is high. So we need to do what? Analyze the root cause of everything that goes wrong. And then we talk about the trend, talk about the variance. Talking about the trend analysis. Well, is it possible for me to do what everybody does? What is obtainable? What is in vogue? Yes. On the other hand, trend analysis. How often has this thing been happening? What is the trend? Okay, in this organization, there is always a trend that for every project that is embarked on, somebody must get injured. Is the trend. Somebody must fall, somebody must die, something just must happen. And it becomes a trend. Every project we encounter, every project we embark on, there is a particular trend of incidents that happens. We want to analyze it. What is that trend analysis? We need to. The trend will take us to the root cause. The root cause. For us to be able to figure out the root cause, we need to specifically analyze what has been happening. In some organizations, every month, people leave. Or in some department of some organization, you discover that people live in that department. And you begin to wonder, why is it that people are not living in other departments? It's only this department. Every now and then, we are recruiting for this department. Every now and then, why are people always going, resigning? It's because what? A trend. We need to analyze it. Why are we analyzing all of this? Is because we do not want anything that will pose a threat to the execution of the project. And then we talk about variance analysis. We talk about variance analysis. What is telling us? The variance analysis, you are simply putting it side by side, maybe in terms of comparison, between this and this. What is variance? How can we, marry the two to get the result that we want. What role do they play? Can I substitute this for this? In the absence of this, can this work effectively? Are we spending for, or let's put it, duplicating a particular role? That the role that one person is supposed, to take, we are now getting as much as 4 people to do the same thing that one person could have done. Of what impact? In terms of quantitative, in terms of qualitative, what is it bringing to the organization? All of these things will help a project manager in order to put into consideration what he will need in order to get the desired result that he wants. What should you know about change request? What should you know about change request? Can we give our input? What should we know? What are the things that we should know about change request? Just apart from what we have here, talking about change request and input to the following process for review. Perform integrated change control when approved, direct and manage project work, quality control, quality procurement. What other thing can we, talk about as far as change request is concerned? What are other things that we need to know? Briefly.
Okay, change request from my end could be a variation order during the course of the project, especially project procurement of materials. There could be variation order.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person?
Cost.
Sorry?
Cost.
We can't hear you, sir. Any other input?
Can you hear me, sir?
We can't hear. Yes, we can hear you now.
Costs. Yes, sir.
Okay, what does that mean?
There can be a change request in terms of costs. Maybe at the initial beginning of the project, it was agreed as the total project or contract cost. Maybe as time goes on, there's now a variation, maybe in the increase of raw materials or manpower. So there can be a change of request in terms of cost.
Okay, cost is very, very associated with change request. It's very, very associated. Yes, any other person?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. We can also have a change request in terms of material specification. Sometimes, as project goes on, you could come to realize that the initial material specified, there is a material which has been proven to be far better than that material, which almost goes for the same cost. So the best thing to do is to change into that material, because technology changes every time. Probably as at the time the project was being initiated or everything was visible, nobody brought that material to the attention of the project manager. But now that it has surfaced, there can be a change in terms of material specification. Thank you.
Okay, yes, that can also suffice, but we'll look at the overall implication, long-term implication of that. It's really a process. It's really a process when you have to alter material that was already in use for a particular one. That could be a very long process. Anyways, it depends on the magnitude of the project. It depends on the magnitude of the project, because first and foremost, for you to have given that material in the first place that it was approved, it showed that you had the best. It showed that you had the best. So coming again to say, fine, there's another new material on, on ground now, that it depends on the magnitude of the project. But yes, it can also affect the material. Change request can affect material. Change request can also affect human resources. Change request can affect human resources. Like you mentioned, it can affect technology. Change request can affect suppliers. It can affect suppliers. For whatever reason, you see that this supplier is not forthcoming, not because of quality of the material, but because they are lagging. They are lagging, and it is affecting the flow of the project. There can be a change request initiated for that. There can be a change initiated for that. Like we said, it just must be what must be well communicated. So the same thing we had talking about, okay, perform integrated change control. We're talking about the input, the tools, and the output. All that you have here is what we have discussed before. It is the same input, it is the same output, it is the same techniques. Expert judgment meeting, change control tools, decision making, data analysis, they are all in line with that. So we say that the change control system is a part of the configuration management system, which is part of the project management information system, PMIS. So for the change control to be effective, it must be what? Must be configured into management system. We pay close attention to change management. So, in other words, the change management plan describes how change on the project will be managed and controlled. It is controlled by the management of the project, right? So the configuration management plans ensures everyone knows what version of the scope, schedule, and other components of the plan are the latest version, right? So once it is configured, we are no longer dealing with the past plans. We are now dealing with what? With the present plan. Everyone is being what? Is carried along, so that in my own space, I understand that, oh, I'm no longer dealing with what we started with, but there's a new plan in place for me to deal with. My energy is channeled towards achieving this current plan than what achieving the previous plan. That's exactly what the integration is all about. We say approve change request process are processed according to change control system by the project manager, the change control board, or by an assigned team member. One person cannot effect the change control system. Imagine you have 3 stakeholders, and out of the 3, it is just one out of the 3 that approves of the change request. There will be issue. There will be serious issues. Why? The other 2 might have a different opinion to that of the other person. So it must be done by the team assigned for it, or a particular department, or the stakeholders for the project, right? So We also understand that is what project document update, which is what the change log. We have assumption log, we have the log, the issue log, we have lag, and what have you, and now we have change log. It is still a document that contains all the change requirement process within a particular department. Within a particular department, within an individual, the document is contained there. It gives us an insight to who made the change and who approved of it. So the control overview identify, you analyze, document, and approve. We have been able to identify the change that we want to. Something struck my attention. No, I don't like the way this thing is. I think if we are able to change this, it will give us a better outlook. That is identification. Then I'm beginning to analyze how can this change be integrated into the project, since we have our project charter already on ground that we are following. We have a manuscript, a prototype that we are following. How can we integrate? Of what use will it be? What is the benefit? What are the advantages and disadvantages that we will step on in the course of effecting the change? We are analyzing it. Is it worth it? Can it hold? Should we effect it? And then we talk about document. We are documenting every detail of what we have come up with. We have analyzed that the advantages is way lower than the disadvantages. We have equally analyzed that the disadvantages is more than the advantages. So it's contained in the document that will be presented. Why should we do this? How long will it take? What is the integration process or time? The impact. Once that is done, the next thing is what we have identified, we have analyzed, we have documented, and we are what approving it. So we look at, we implement, right? We verify, we validate, and we accept. Once it is approved, we implement. Once it is implemented, we verify to see what it and then it says, wow, the change was actually needed. The change has brought about, a different look on the project. It's giving the project a different value altogether from what it was. So sometimes changes can bring about positive effects or negative effects on the business. It cannot remain neutral. It cannot remain neutral. Right? So what should we know about closing project or facing? The project is not done when the technical work is done. It must be formally closed with the following: formal issuance of final lessons learned, achieving all project records, key benefit. What are we trying to say? It's not enough to say, okay, wow, we have completed the project. We are it's time to do that. No. What have we learned? Can we have final reports from each of the departmental heads or from people assigned key responsibilities? Can we have your report? The responsibility that in giving off a brief of your report that you must have missed something along the line. So we need to have the report first. We need to analyze our lessons learned. We need to, ensure that all information as far as that project is concerned, all the document is being archived. That forms our historical information. It forms our historical information. Even if we just finish a project today Saturday, and next week Saturday we are starting another project. Today's record, today's information is regarded as historical. It's history. So we are laying emphasis. We are revisiting today's information. All of that needs to be archived. Of course, we talk about the key benefit that we derived in the course of the project, transfer to next phase or operation, release of organizational resources, information for future use, and all of that. That is the only way that we can close a project. So, close project or phase, final product or service or result transition. Transition to the final product, service or result that the project was supervised to produce. The output is that it has transitioned us into the overall result that the project was intended to achieve. We talk about the updates on assets, organizational process assets. We talk about the final report. That's the summary of project performance. Let us know how much was budgeted. Let us know how much was spent. Let us know what quantity of materials we still have available, if at all. We are giving a summary. Are we able to meet up with the scope, with the baseline, with the cost, with the time? How can we analyze our risk management system? At the end of the day, we are giving a comprehensive breakdown of what transpired from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. Right? So, just to remind us what integration management is talking about, the collective, usage, infusing or infusion of every requirement, resources to achieve the desired result that the project manager is assigned to achieve. That just in paraphrasing. So the processes that we mentioned, we said first you have to develop your project charter, develop project management plan, direct and manage project work, manage project knowledge, monitor and control project work, perform integrated change control, and then close project phase or otherwise. So that is how far we are able to go as far as project integration is concerned. Any question at this point or any contribution? Any shared experience so we can also learn? For some of the professionals in the industry, give us, an experience of how integration was done and the resultant effect, and when it was ignored, and also the resultant effect, if any. Just let's share experiences together. Mr. Ojo? Let's have your experience on this. Let's have your experience on this as a seasoned engineer that is a chartered project manager with decades of experience. Let's hear from you, Mr. Ojo.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good
Where are
afternoon,
you?
everybody.
Where are you? Okay, I thought you are not in
Sorry,
Nigeria again.
I'm in Nigeria. I wish that I got covered. All right. Yes. It's very important. It's very important because two experiences. One, I will share an experience where we all integrated into project and how it went out. I remember when I was working with a Chinese company. Usually, before the project, there is a time we spend to plan, to let everybody know specific goal, down to every engineers that will be involved. We'll let you know your specific goals. And then up to the former, after explaining the specific goal to all engineers and surveyors, you will have your role as far as the project is concerned. And then the former will have his role. Not just former, all formers of every department, iron, masonry, carpentry, they will all have their role, and they will probably explain this thing is done before the project. And then the procurement department also knows their role before the project. So then again, we also take time to explain the project method, the methodology of this particular project to everybody. And then if there is a new process that we haven't done before, an expert comes to explain to us and ensure we who are the engineers grab it, and then we find a way to explain it and ensure that the artisans who may not be well educated at our own level also understand it at every point in time, so that by the time we start the project, execution continues. And so by this, we're able to carry almost everybody along. Everybody down to the labor was carried along. As a matter of fact, you launched, because of that, you launched a project that we at initial stage thought was not possible, that would have taken 3 or 4 years, that would have taken 2 years, and the client wanted us to do it in 9 months. We thought it was impossible. But when the project manager brought up this idea and integrated all of us, believe you me, we were able to achieve it in close to 8 months, not even the 9 months that was specified by the project. Then again, I left that place. I went to another place where I currently work, where the CEO and the manager and the owner of the company, the CEO and the managing director, believe that they are everything. You make a plan, they change the plan, they do this, they do that. At the middle of every job, they come and make changes. Even while we know that, oh, this is the drawing that was been given to us, this is the drawing that was given to us, they will come and make changes. Believe me, a project of 6 months, sometimes they spend 2 years. I can tell you there's a swimming pool that they've been building, that we have been building when I resumed there in August 2021. We are still working on the swimming pool right now as we speak. Because there was never a proper direction, there was no proper integration of those who were supposed to, there was no concept definition, there was nothing. What was the project going to be made for another? So the idea of integrating everybody into a project is something that must be done. Even while those who work with me will understand that my team, I try to break it down to you. I want to know how you understand, so I break it down to you the way you will understand. So my team are always on the understanding of what I want and of what the job needs to be. But on a wider note, with the entire project team, it is not always like that, because the management always make, like for right now, 2 weeks I've not been able to work because the management decided that mobility should be granted for reasons best known to them. So it cannot be overemphasized. If really you really believe that you want to achieve a project, you must integrate everybody, and you cannot be the most intelligent. If, despite the fact that you own the money or you are the one spending the money, you cannot be the person with the brightest idea. But sorry to say, most times those who are very rich and wealthy in Nigeria seem to feel that they are the one with the brightest idea. And so, if you are so intelligent, why are you poor? You shouldn't be working on it. You have your own company. So that's it. But believe me, when you work with the foreigners, when you work with those foreigners who came with very good background, the Chinese, the Indians, the Japanese, you will see how they integrate everybody. Even when you come newly into the system, nobody will tell you. When you see the situation in Ghana, you will know that you will not come and be doing your own. You have to sink into the system and do what is obtainable there. The system will absorb you immediately. You can't come and institute your own. And if you institute your own, it should be at the initial stage where everybody was discussing the project. Then you cannot make your input. At that, you can't come and change anything. So that has always been what standard between a Nigerian contractor and a foreign contractor. That is just the basic difference. In a foreign contractor, they always have the idea to integrate everybody down to the least labor. That will make you feel that you have a stake in this job. But you see, in a Nigerian contractor's firm, the Oga has all the stake. You don't even have any stake. He's the one and only stakeholder. He says what it should be. When you are seeing something and reporting to him that, Oga, this thing, I don't think we should do it like this. No, we should do it like that. What are you telling me? We've done it like that before. Do it like that. And then you go ahead and do it like that, and there's a problem. You come back and tell him that there's a problem. He start blaming you. Why did you do it like that? Well, Oga, I explained to you. Then when you have waited, when you know that it is not good, are you not a professional? On the divide. So that's the funny part. That is where I am now.
Managing projects can be very delicate.
Very delicate.
Can be
Very
very
delicate.
delicate. And the
You
question
don't have
you
the nerve
ask,
for it, you run away.
the question you ask is a multi-million-dollar question. If you are so intelligent, why are you poor? Yes, I totally understand with you. See, when you work with out of, let me say, 100% of wealthy people in Nigeria that we have access to working with, it is just 5%, maybe 5% or less than 5% that will give you audience for you to make your input, that they will listen to you. The rest will not even give you that chance to even talk. With the money, they tell you, I have my money. With my money, I can get any solution that I want. Then why did you hire me? Why did you employ me to working directly with you if I cannot also give you my professional advice concerning a particular project? Then why am I there? I'm just there as a figurehead, a stamped project manager who cannot say or make his input. It is unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. That's the reason people tend to, project managers collect any kind of work just because they just want to be. The importance of integration cannot be ruled out in any project that you are embarking on. It cannot be ruled out. You cannot work alone. You need the people to work. The resources that you have, you need to know how to, apportion resources, distribute resources, and ensure that for what purpose it was apportioned for is being used. You need all of that. But sometimes pride, arrogance, I too know, will not allow us to. Just imagine a swimming pool for 2020 or 2021 is still being constructed in 2024. What is that telling you? The management structure is poor. Their decision-making strategy is poor. Their integration process is poor. Their respect to time management is poor. the material that they ought to have procured in 2020 can never be the same in 2024. Who is losing? That swimming pool would have maybe cost about, let's say, 30 million. But today, the same size will cost about 45 million. Who is losing? Who is losing? So let us try to imbibe this culture of integration into whatever we need to do, and we'll see it work out for our good. Any other person to share his experience or contribute to what we have done so far? Any other person? Mr. Sunday, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Isaac, Ms. Ruth, Rivo.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Isaac.
Sir,
Okay, Mr. Sunday.
Okay.
Mr. Sunday.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the topic of today, talking about project integration. As you were talking, though, I was on and off as a result of my reception. So, but I later got one or two things I could work with. Let me use a live case scenario where I work currently. I am not only into procurement and logistics. But as you were talking, I saw the lapses of the project manager, the things he ought to do, which is not actually doing them. I saw so many lapses on his part. And Nigerians, they crave for position. When you call him project manager and corporate services, he will answer with egos. Talking about project integration, I noticed lately not being actively on projects because when you were talking, I remember two of the projects we had. My company is a contracting company to almost all universities and polytechnics and tertiary institutions, and also to federal government. So we bid for projects, we bid for contracts like the current National Population Commission data center in Kaduna and Abuja, where contracting setting them up. So I saw so many lapses on the part. Like, for example, there's a project with Anchor for Bureau of Public Procurement that's in terms of setting up their library. I remember that was when I joined them 2 years ago. They went and supplied books outside the bill of quantities, which that became an issue that they had to resolve. And the area of the last speaker, he says every Nigerian man, every Nigerian rich man believes that you are there doing the job. You have no idea. You have no idea. They are just after the profits. Like yesterday, he was talking about a project I was handling in Ilawe Ekiti. I handled the procurement aspect of it, and he was saying, what is the profitability? The profitability is what he is after. He brings out the money to do the project, and what is his profit? So I can supply without following the bill of quantity, and Bureau of Public Procurement wrote the management of my company that we'd actually gone outside the scope of the work, supplying them. And I saw a lapses on the part of the project manager. Why? Because when it should have been a communication with clients that please, these are days we are having issues about your supply. These are what is available in terms of getting approval. So as the course of you talking today, I actually learned one or two aspects, and this is why I felt it's our time for me to do the project management so that it can be a plus on my part. So I think today's lectures, in terms of project integration, I've actually learned so much about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for that shared experience. Any other person, please? Any other person? Any other person? Thank you for your shared experiences. It's always a privilege to have you guys in training and all of that. And I'm sure not only me, every other person must have learned one or two things today. All right. Is there any contributions?
I said
Any
there's a
contributions?
contribution I want to make.
Okay, please go ahead.
I'm in Prestia Catholic JHS, and I'm a teacher there. The students over there, they don't have a toilet, so the PTA has agreed to build a toilet for them. But you know, the one leading the project, because he's rich, there's a pylon that is electricity. It is 264 kV. And it supplies electricity from Prestia to Cote d'Ivoire. So where they are building the toilet, it is closer to the tower. And then the PT has come in that no, it has a risk on the students that they are building the toilet for. So they should distance it. But because the one who is leading the project is rich, he doesn't want to agree with them. He doesn't want to listen to anybody. He's just, embarking on the project. So we are also quiet and we are just looking at him. So it is part of project integration. You should have integrated that in the project. At least where he's building the project will not benefit some of the stakeholders, not even some. It will not benefit the stakeholders because it is in the interest of the children. So I think we should take project integration management very serious when we are embarking on projects as professionals, as project managers. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Any other person? Any other person? Okay. All right. So what I'll do for the purpose of next week training, I'm going to send the material upfront. The topic for next week should be able to get to you on or before Wednesday. On or before Wednesday, so that we can go through it, and then when we come on Saturday, it will make it more interactive and more interesting. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, sir. Are we good with that?
Yes, sir, we are good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I'll make the material for next week available on or before Wednesday. We can have time. I know we're all busy, but let's try and just put our eyes to it so that when we come next week, I want it to be, in fact, the way Ruth is answering question today, 5 marks for you already. I want it to be more interactive. Let's speak, share our experiences, and all of that. So thank you very much for your time today. It's always a privilege to be your facilitator, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you. I've learned from professionals in here today, and I know next week, by God's grace, it's going to be yet another time for us to learn, for us to relearn, for us to unlearn, and at the end of the day, we'll be better off the way we came. So thank you very much once again. On behalf of myself, I say a very big thank you to MJB for having me today. and always for the opportunity. Thank you, and do have yourself a splendid Saturday. If anybody's going to party, send me address. So me too. I want to go for party.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Friday. It's wonderful. Today has been a wonderful day as always. I want to appreciate all our participants. You have been wonderful. For those that shared idea one way or the other, we appreciate you so much. And the rest of us, we appreciate you so much here at MJB Management and Integrated Services. As our facilitator has said, we will try our possible best so that you get the study material for next week in advance so that the class can be as interactive as today was. Do have the weekend has already started. Do continue to enjoy the weekend and a blessed week ahead. Bye for now.
So please do what to send us today's material.
All right. You will have it. You have it within the week. Before you have both of them.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.